My needle drops. Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Holograms album, Forever. Holograms are a Swedish post-punk outfit who last year put out their full-length debut on Captured Tracks Records, a nice, fast, intense little self-titled album, and now, about 14 months later, here we are with a new full-length. It's another installment of post-punk revivalism. And as you guys may know, I am not usually one to just praise nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia, but I think there have been some inventive and refreshing acts to sort of toy with these darker sounds in post-punk music as of late. But when it comes to Holograms, I do feel like they are less distinct. The band's songs are pretty steeped in these classic post-punk and synth-punk influences. However, in my opinion, on their last full-length album, they made up for this issue easily with just some raw energy and some really catchy songwriting, with singles like ABC City, or deeper tracks on the record like Orfeo, or Memories of Sweat. The band's performances just had this intense energy. The vocals, while over the top and maybe a little out of control, were really passionate and captivating. While stylistically, Holograms wasn't really adventurous, I do feel like they had this art of post-punk songwriting down to a hard science. And I did like the fact that the band's approach was kind of poppy and just instantaneous. However, I feel like on this new record of theirs, Forever, they're trying to change their sound and their direction up a little bit. I really think the band is trying to come off loftier, a bit darker on this thing, with moodier guitars, a bit more reverb all over everything, and an increase in the use of synthesizers. And synthesizers of a different tone, too. On the band's last full-length LP, whenever a synth would hop into a track, it was usually bright, loud, and noisy. Whereas on this album, the synthesizers are much smoother, much more darker, like they would slide really nicely into a Joy Division single or like a goth rock song. And we do see Holograms on this record experimenting with trying to write longer songs on the whole of the album, not really dropping in for just a 1 minute and 40-second bash fest. While I do appreciate that the band made an attempt to change, and believe me, this is a change that they needed to make, but here I feel like they're taking away some of that raw energy and trying to build up their songs without a solid foundation. Case in point, one of the things that they string these songs out with: guitar solos. Guitar solos that are not really that exciting and just kind of feel like the band is putting it there just to pad the song out. Like on the song A Sacred State, the opener to this album. Or the song Ates Stupa, whose title is actually more edgy than its guitar playing. It's actually a reference to this practice in Nordic society where elderly people or those who were just no longer of use to the town that they were living in would just sort of hop off this cliff to their death. But let it be known that there are some people that do not even believe that this practice was common or even existed. Still, for a song title this gloomy and for a band this ferocious on a majority of its songs, the guitar solo here just kind of feels like a very tame and limited rehash of the theme melody of this song itself. Now, occasionally, I do feel like Holograms' ambition pays off, like the rush of building drums and rolling snares on the track Rush, with these intense guitars just tightly locking in with them. I feel like Holograms have reached a new level of tightness with this track, especially with the incredibly climactic finish to this song. Really loud, really powerful. And there is the closing track on here too, Lay Us Down, which for me is the only honest-to-God ballad on this album. Not a bad thing. I love that the band comes through with some slightly more melodic vocals and some really huge tubular bells, what sounds like tubular bells, on the chorus, just building the track higher and higher. But for every triumphant moment, for me, there is at least one kind of underwhelming spot. And even though Holograms' last full-length record wasn't really all that original, I do feel like that album did have some kind of element of diversity to it. You had these harder, faster, more in-your-face tracks, poppier tracks, slower, more depressing songs that are bleak as hell. But on Forever, it seems like Holograms is trying to deliver a series of variants on the same synth-backed goth punk song. Now, there are tracks on here that stick out, like Flesh and Bone or Meditations, songs that are a testament to the fact that Holograms still has an immense talent for hook writing, which really makes refrains as basic and as simple as, "I'm so tired," pretty freaking catchy, and something that most likely you will be singing along with by the end of the song, especially since the vocals are so passionate and the band repeats some of these refrains a lot of times. Overall, I didn't really hear anything on this album that I thought was awful, and I still enjoy the songs that dropped ahead of the release of Forever a lot. I feel like they stick out on their own, but when you bring them all together, this album becomes this homogeneous piece of post-punk revivalism. I'm feeling a strong 6 on this record. Transition. If you've given this Holograms album a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's about it. Only the strong subscribe. All mistakes were intentional. This review is only my opinion. Also, I want to mention that I have a new music video review video over at the Maker YouTube channel. Go check that out via a link down there or on my face. And that's it. Anthony Fantano, Holograms, Forever.